Good evening and welcome to Nationwide Today on the network service of the NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Thank you so much for joining us. Ondo State House of Assembly has received impeachment notice on the State Deputy Governor Agbola Ajayi, who recently defected to PDP from the ruling party in the state. The House has therefore set up a panel of inquiry to investigate allegation of misconduct leveled against the Deputy Governor for fair hearing. Olubukola Aduwo takes the report.
The Ondo State House of Assembly, which had been on recess since May 21st, reconvened Tuesday with full membership of the House. The only item on the other paper was to serve impeachment notice on the State Deputy Governor, Agbola Ajayi. However, only Ondo State government-owned media houses were allowed to cover the proceedings. It was difficult for journalists to gain access into the hallowed chambers of the House. However, NTA News Grill gathered that all the 26 members were in plenary, which was presided over by the Speaker, Honorable Bamidele Oleyalogun. At the end of the session, 14 out of the 26 members signed the impeachment notice, while 9, including the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Ogundeji Roju, refused to sign the notice.
Impeachment is a process. In fact, it's only 9 that we even needed for what we did today. Exactly. That is 1/3. It's only 9. Then we have 14.
The House therefore set up a panel of inquiry to further investigate the allegation of misconduct against the Deputy Governor. Security operatives from the police and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps have taken strategic positions of the Assembly as early as 7 in the morning, but there was no breach of peace. In Akure, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
Into appointments, caretaker and extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee of the All Progressives Congress has appointed the party's former interim national secretary, Tijani Musa Tumsa, to chair the party's screening committee for Ondo State governorship aspirants. In a statement by the party's deputy national publicity secretary, Yakini Nabena, Umar Lawan Kareto will chair the screening appeal committee. The 9-member APC Ondo Governorship Screening Committee has Tijani Musa Tumsa as chairman and Professor Shehu Adamaraji as secretary, while the 9-member Screening Appeal Committee has Umar Lawan Kareto as chairman and Senator Andrew Ochendo as secretary. And now to activities on the floor of the National Assembly. Senate has passed the Sexual Harassment Bill 2020, which seeks to criminalize sexual harassment in tertiary institutions. The bill, which proposes a maximum jail term of 14 years and minimum of 5 years for culprits without option of fine, also made the crime a strict liability. The bill, when signed into law, is expected to prohibit and punish acts of negligence by administrative heads, which resulted in sexual abuse. Meanwhile, President Muhammad Buhari has written the Senate requesting the confirmation of 11 judges of the High Court of FCT, the nominees as members of the Code of Conduct Bureau, and the renewal of Professor Umar Garba Dambata to another term of 5 years as Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission. Senate paid tributes to the late two-time governor of Oyo State, Abiola Ajimobi, who died last month following a motion by Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari. Still from the National Assembly, the House of Representatives says the average of 5 reported cases of rape per day between January and May 2020 is confirmed by the Nigeria Police calls for concern. During plenary Tuesday, House members, following a motion from Representative Idem Onyime, urged the establishment of special courts to enhance speedy trial. The lawmakers also called for the launch of a national campaign against rape and gender-based violence. The House passed a resolution to investigate alleged breach of presidential directives on the suspension of top management and executive members of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund by the Minister of Labour. Meanwhile, a bill to provide for establishment of orthopedic hospital in Plateau State and a bill to establish Federal Medical Center, WASE, sponsored by the Deputy Speaker, passed second reading. Now to aviation. Ahead of resumption of domestic flights on July 8, 2020, after over 3 months of shutdown, preventive measures are in place for a smooth takeoff. Asabit Tamino Williams reports that, as announced by the Ministry of Aviation, flights will commence with Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos on the same dates.
This is the entrance of the domestic wing at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Ahead of flight operations, as the airport reopens for business, part of the new normal includes strategic hand-washing points and physical distancing marks to guard against human contacts and check for COVID-19. The airport authority says it has created new entry and exit points to reduce heavy human traffic.
Abuja is ready. Abuja Airport is ready to go. We have spent a lot of energy, time to ensure that we prepare the place in line with the COVID-19 protocols. It will have been an ordinary opening, but this is a different opening. So I want to assure you that Abuja Airport is safe for flight operations.
Meanwhile, to ensure strict compliance to standard operating procedures, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has started issuing out permits to domestic airlines to restart operations ahead of the resumption of commercial flights on Wednesday, July 8. However, there are few protocols that are key for all intending air passengers to comply before and during the flight's duration, such as arriving at the airport 3 hours ahead of any domestic flight. Asabit Tamino Williams, NTA News.
Away from aviation, as students in terminal classes in Oyo State return to school, compliance level with all laid down measures to contain further spread of COVID-19 is high. Shola Wahid monitored the situation.
The aim of using education as a tool for fostering the development of all Nigerian citizens to their full potential has been threatened by the outbreak of COVID-19 globally. This prompted the government to order the closure of schools nationwide amid fear of the COVID-19, among other measures. And as the lockdown and curfew ease gradually, Oyo State government reopened schools this Monday for the graduating classes so that pupils and students can prepare for their examinations with adequate precautionary measures put in place for everyone.
Provide washing bays for each classes with hand sanitizers and running water. Before we do reach greet other like hugging each other, but now we have to maintain total distance.
Arrangement of the seats is being observed there, and then the level of contamination is 0.
All the training that we were asked to attend, the courses and the training, and we participated in everything.
The state government stressed that daily monitoring of the level of compliance in schools will be enforced. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on NTA. Let's pause here and join Dotun in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Dotun.
Hello, Elizabeth. Following the announcement of the partial closure of the Third Mainland Bridge for maintenance work scheduled to commence from the 24th of July 2020, officials of the Federal and State Ministry of Works have issued traffic advisories to guide motorists and prevent gridlock. This was disclosed at a media briefing by the Federal Ministry of Works in Lagos. The Third Mainland Bridge is critical to socio-economic activities in Lagos, and this might not be unconnected with the interest generated whenever information about the bridge appears on social and mainstream media, whether positive or negative. The latest news on the Third Mainland Bridge has received the usual reactions following the announcement of an intending closure of the stretch for repair works, similar to the same procedure in 2009 and 2012. The closure is to enable construction workers undertake repair works on sections highlighted during an integrity test carried out in 2018. The Federal Controller of Works, Lagos, Engineer Kayode Popola, says the maintenance of the bridge, which begins on the 24th July 2020, will end on the 24th of January 2021.
In no doubt, we know that it's going to bring some discomfort to us Lagosians. But this is the right time to do it. We don't want the bridge to collapse, and we still want the serviceability to be sustained.
Consequently, the ministry in its traffic advisory stated that Phase A of the closure follows thus. Morning traffic, 12 midnight to 1 p.m., would see the closure of Oworonshoki to Lagos Island, traffic only on the Lagos Island bound lane. While in the afternoon, the bridge will be closed between 1 p.m. to 12 midnight, as that would be on the Lagos bound to Oworonshoki, leaving only the Lagos Island bound lane, which will be for a period of 3 months. Phase B of the repairs would see a reversal of the process in the morning and afternoon, but this time, traffic would only be allowed on the Oworonshoki bound lane of the bridge. Motorists are advised to ply these alternative routes: 1. From Kata Bridge through Ido, through Oyingbo, to join Adekule Ramp inward Oworonshoki. 2. From Ijoro Lokpa through Western Avenue to Ikorodu Road. The ministry says traffic management officials would be on ground to ensure compliance, as well as traffic diversion signs. In line with the rules outlined by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, the West African Examination Council, WAEC, has confirmed the new date for the commencement of the 2020 West African Senior School Certificate Examination. Head of Nigerian National Office of WAEC, Patrick Avagan, affirmed that all COVID-19 protocols will be applied across all examination centers. Ken Ibeluge reports.
The West African Senior School Certificate Examination, earlier scheduled for May-June this year, was postponed due to the COVID-19 safety restrictions, which forced virtually all sectors to shut down, suspending most activities. This is why the annual examination will now hold beginning from the 3rd of August and terminate on the 5th September. This development comes as cheering news to students.
We were so happy, even though it is mixed. We have mixed emotions that by August we'll start our work and be done in September. It's really exciting knowing that we'll finally be done with SS3 and be done with secondary school and graduates.
Now that I know when the exam is, at least we'll be more serious. We'll go back to the revisions and we pray to God to give us the best so that we'll pass the exam well.
The head of WAEC Nigerian office outlined requirements that must be in place at all centers for the successful conduct of the examination.
Schools must provide water buckets with running water or taps with running water, soaps, hand sanitizers, and thermometer hand gun to check the temperature of all concerned. All examination functionaries, including the council staff on distribution, supervisors, invigilators, inspectors, candidates, and school officials will be required to wear face masks, wash and sanitize their hands daily and throughout the duration of the examination.
A total of 1,549,463 registered students will sit for the 2020 WAEC examination in Lagos. Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos. Nationwide continues after the break.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
Live this week, the multi-dimensional impact of Ajakuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project on the economy. How beneficial is the project to boosting domestic natural gas, power and job creation? Join us at 10:30 p.m. on NTA Tuesday Live for in-depth analysis and information. Don't miss it.
Country people, rain don't dey fall, ground don't soft. Now time to plant we do. First, make we salute our farmers then. Because inside this COVID-19 times, for our country, now then they will also farmers, so now then they very, very important as them be pillar. We hold our nation, making no fall. We be essential worker, not bone face for farmers, so make we magnet with them to feed the nation. Oh yeah, now, not forget to wear all the things we feed do or they she for this coronavirus where they call COVID-19, like mask and gloves them. Not touch your face, nor your nose. So throw away tissue paper where you don't use sharper inside dustbin. They wash your hand well. Your body matter plus health is important to us. Now come on, but we not forget. So they use Ogbonge seed. We come from approved sources to make our harvest plenty to feed our nation. We gotta get role to play. Cause if farmers is not there, our nation go hungry. Now my responsibility, now your responsibility, now our responsibility to stay safe and stay safe. This message now waka come from National Agricultural Seed Council, NASC.
Thanks for staying with us. Now to COVID-19 updates. The NCDC has confirmed 575 new cases of COVID-19 as at 6th of July 2020. Of the new cases recorded, Lagos has 123 cases, FCT 100, Delta 58, Edo 52, Ogun 42, Katsina 24, Bayelsa 23, and Rivers State 22. Others include Borno 19, Plateau and Ondo States 18 each, Oyo 17, Kwara 15, Osun 13, Enugu 9, Nasarawa 7, Abia 6, Cross River 5, Kaduna 3, and Ekiti State 1. So far, Nigeria has 29,286 confirmed cases of COVID-19, with 11,828 patients discharged and 654 deaths recorded. The management of the Federal Medical Center, Abuja, has debunked media reports alleging that medical personnel of the facility who tested positive for COVID-19 were allowed to continue working in breach of safety guidelines. Hakim Jima was at a press conference which was addressed to such the issue. His report is hereby presented.
About a week ago, the management of the Federal Medical Center, Abuja, issued a statement informing members of the public that 8 of its medical personnel involved in the treatment of a pediatric COVID-19 patient have tested positive to the virus. However, many woke up to the media report in a national newspaper alleging that the hospital manipulated the test results of the affected medical personnel and kept them at their duty posts in violation of standard protocol. Addressing a press conference to debunk the media report, the medical director of the hospital, Professor Adewale Musa Olomu, who was represented, said the hospital always accord much premium to the safety of staff and patients, and as such would not allow any infected member of staff to return to work against protocol.
There's no way the management of FMC could have allowed a member of staff that has tested positive to continue to work, because that would have endangered the lives of everyone, including the medical director, myself sitting here, and every other person within the hospital.
While cautioning journalists against inaccurate and imbalanced report, the MD urged them to always seek necessary clarifications from established channel of communication in the facility before publishing any piece of information. Professor Olomu commended the efforts of the federal government at containing the spread of the virus and encouraged Nigerians to always adhere to all safety measures put in place by government.
Into containment of diseases, Abuja State will soon have its second molecular, generic and infectious diseases laboratory. Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports that the Tertiary Education Trust Fund has already provided all the equipment required in the test center.
Situated within the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital, Bauchi, the Molecular, Genetic and Infectious Disease Laboratory, when inaugurated, will also carry out tests on HIV and AIDS.
We are prepared. What we're waiting for now is NCDC presence to actually certify that the lab is the testing capacity here in this lab. We should be able to test at least 300 samples in a day.
We are not only looking at it as a COVID-19 lab as a university. We are looking at it as a research lab. So we are not, after COVID-19, this lab will continue to exist.
To the government of Bauchi State, it is a milestone that will strengthen service delivery.
So we are very happy we are coming out as a state. The federal government is giving the required attention through its agencies, and I must thank the management and staff of the university and the teaching hospital, and indeed our health workers for doing this, because it is a collaboration.
Governor Bala Mohammed therefore warned people of Bauchi to adhere to all safety protocols as outlined by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed, NTA News.
Into other health-related issues, the Director General World Health Organization has warned world leaders to pay attention to COVID-19 at the detriment of other life-threatening disease burden. He stated this at the opening of the 23rd International AIDS Virtual Conference in Oakland and San Francisco, United States. Basi Taikpan, who is participating at the virtual conference, reports that the impact of COVID-19 on HIV response took the center stage.
Tapped 2020 AIDS Conference. It is the first virtual edition of the largest conference on HIV because of the coronavirus pandemic that is ravaging the world. It focused on the link between HIV and COVID-19 with the recognition of global debates around racism. Speakers observed that the pandemic is pulling HIV response off track, advising that countries and their development partners must ensure that people who need treatment continue to access it to sustain the gains of global response on HIV. The task of meeting 90-90-90 targets of 2030 and subsequently ending AIDS, they noted, requires political will and community involvement. While saluting efforts of funding partners in the fight against HIV, countries in sub-Saharan Africa were commended for various interventions towards reducing new infections on the continent. The theme of this year's conference is resilience. It is to highlight challenges of rapidly changing global health landscape and to preserve such in the face of uncertainty. It also insists on the fundamental human rights to live with HIV in dignity and good health over a lifetime and to help each other in doing so. Basi Taikman, NTA News.
The International Human Rights Commission is raising hope for drastic reduction of human rights abuses in the country as it partners with the Nigerian judiciary on projects amidst COVID-19. Omenka Amarachuku reports.
Coronavirus is a global health challenge that has denied human society of some certain rights and privileges, and the world is camping for solution. While efforts are on the way to solve issues of the pandemic, the International Human Rights Commission is also keeping eye on the human rights to check abuses, even as the virus is ravaging the world.
The FCT High Court, I can tell you, for long, we had conceived structural approach that would provide necessary avenue for addressing this issue frontally.
We came here with 3 prayers from the World Headquarters. The 3 of them were approved by him, especially the one that relates to rape. And I know that the same way it will be approved at the level of International Criminal Court. So that tells you the magnitude of the punishment that will be meted anybody who decides to commit rape from henceforth.
The Nigerian judiciary activated mobile courts during the pandemic to protect public health and safety of Nigerians. In Abuja, Umenka Marachuku, NTA News.
Now, we are safe on the cyberspace as much as we are responsible. This was a summation of cybersecurity experts on Good Morning Nigeria while discussing COVID-19 and cybercrimes. Ekemini Williams has details.
Over 40 million Nigerians face the risk of internet-related crimes, particularly identity theft, personal data hacking, and ransomware, especially during COVID-19, which has necessitated migration of most day-to-day activities from analog space to digital platforms. Experts on the program raised concerns about possible cyber threats to individuals and organizations, especially when the 5G network is deployed in the country. The guests suggested deeper interagency collaboration and government involvement in moderation of technology infrastructure in the country.
When 5G becomes 5G in this climate, we are going to see everything connected. We should talk more about how we can be co-owners, of that infrastructure. You cannot manage what you don't own.
The actual problem that we're having in agencies and in Nigeria, involving law enforcement agencies, of course, is that we don't like to share information.
I think that there's just so much in our toolkit, from laws to regulations to frameworks for information security, for instance, that we need to practice.
They affirmed that with the opportunities technology presents in the 21st century, it is indeed a blessing until it falls into the wrong hands. The guest advised governments to consider establishing a national cyber security agency.
Or we can even have a cyber security ministry like any other, so that it can harmonize, all of these issues we are talking about.
Harvesting, mentoring and incorporating some cyber hackers into enhancing the nation's cyber security was also suggested.
There is one of the suspects that we nicknamed FBI. He is in his final year now. We're looking at those kind of policies, but they are also very slippery policies. Recently, what we've done is taking a second look at our ICT college in Abuja.
Improved cyber safety education on media for safety.
Cases, the Kaduna State government is planning stiffer penalties through necessary legislation for perpetrators and protection against stigmatization for victims. Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai disclosed this while addressing a group of women advocating for justice for victims of rape. Muhammad Umar Rajingi reports.
Dressed in black or red, these women staged a peaceful protest demanding for justice for all victims of rape across the state, recalling the most recent cases in the state when a 6-year-old girl who was allegedly raped was found dead in Kurmimashi area of Kaduna, and another 3-year-old raped to death in Zaria. The women are united in solidarity for all rape victims and call for an end to the trend. And to further praise home their demand, they presented this set of twins whose mother, a mentally drained woman, was allegedly raped about a year ago. Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai says the authority is equally worried by the rising cases of rape, emphasizing that rapists will no longer be granted bail in addition to other stiffer penalties.
Most cases of rape fail to get a conviction because the witnesses disappear, or there is an attempt on the part of parents and communities to cover it up because of the stigma surrounding rape. We have made it clear that one, we will protect the faces and the identities of victims and survivors of rape.
The governor and the women group are unanimous in the call on rape victims and relatives to always speak out, to enable relevant authorities track perpetrators and bring them to justice. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umarajingi, NTA News.
Federal Fire Service boosts the capacity of its state counterpart in Jigawa State to effectively combat fire disaster in the state. Awal Muhammad Kazauri reports that a firefighting truck was presented to the state to complement its efforts in managing fire disaster. His report.
Delivering the truck, the Controller General of Federal Fire Service, Alhaji Liman Ibrahim, represented by the Zonal Controller, Zone B, Aliyu Maazu Tambari, said the Federal Fire Service was established to ensure the safety of lives, properties, environment, and the ecosystem.
By providing this vehicle, it will assist our men to go around, to enlighten people, to know the danger, and know how to prevent the occurrence of all these emergency cases.
Governor Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, who was represented by the State Commissioner of Works and Transport, Aminu Usman, appreciated the effort of the Federal Fire Service for assisting the state to combat fire outbreaks.
It will be added to the one that we are having here in the state that will assist the public, the people within the state, in order to fight any incidents that happen within the state.
He promised to look into the request of the Federal Fire Service so as to improve synergy between the two sister organizations. The Federal Fire Service falls within the concurrent legislation as provided by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Earlier, the zonal controller had paid a courtesy call on the Emir of Dutse, Alhaji Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi, to seek for royal blessings and support to enlighten people on their activities. From Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazauri, NTA News.
And we're back to Elizabeth in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you so much, Zole. A total of 8 bodies have been recovered so far out of the 21 that died in the Sunday boat mishap in River Benue. Police Public Relations Officer Sitwese Anene Hood confirmed this, says recovery effort for the remaining bodies is still ongoing. Moses Alu reports.
On Sunday, a boat conveying 23 persons across the River Benue to Ijaha community, a suburb of Makurdi, the Benue state capital, capsized with only 8 out of the passengers on board rescued so far. Since Sunday, when the accident was reported, rescue operation has been ongoing, leading to the rescue of 2 survivors in the accident and subsequent recovery of 8 bodies of the victims. Rhoda Bolos is a mother who had 5 children in the Sunday boat accident.
Now God give me.
Romance Vincent also had 3 of her siblings in the boat mishap.
When we went to Ijaha, we saw only 1 corpse that he found. We stayed there till 10 o'clock. There was no hope, so we just came back home.
Meanwhile, Governor Samuel Otom has expressed his deep sympathy with the families of the 23 victims whose boat capsized on the River Benue. He described the incident as painful and unfortunate and prayed God to console members of the families, particularly the Ekan Church. In Makudi, Ode Moses Ajao, NTA News.
Now, to bring us up to speed on efforts made so far by the Benue State government to recover the remaining bodies of those who lost their lives in the boat mishap is the Police Public Relations Officer, Benue State Police Command, DSP Catherine Anene, who joins me now via the telephone. DSP Catherine, thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening. We understand that some bodies are still being searched. What is the situation right now?
Yeah, as we speak, the number so 14 corpses. We have 8 females and 6 males.
Okay.
That have been recovered.
Okay.
The investigation is still in progress, but we doubt if we are going to find persons alive at this point, because we have seen so many of them and they are corpses.
Okay. Could you give us a number, please?
The total number of corpses?
Found.
14.
Okay.
Total number of corpses found is 14.
Okay.
As we speak,
okay.
The river banks just about 30 minutes ago, 14 corpses were found. We had 8 females among them.
Okay.
and 6 males.
Okay.
Ranging from the ages of 14 to 25.
Okay. Now, Nigerians are really concerned, and that we would like to know, do operators of ferries and boats have enough life protective kits? And are their activities really supervised?
Activities of sailors on the river banks are supervised by the union and by marine police officers. Now, as to whether they use life jackets is another question entirely, because in this case, life jackets were not in use.
Okay.
That's why there's this high number of casualties. That's the truth. But investigation is still in progress as to why young people of that age were on board at that time
without
life
protective
jackets,
kits.
and who actually conveyed them.
So, globally, the water is a means of transportation. Are there signs to look out for before using the water? Could you educate us?
Yes, there are signs to look out for.
Okay.
As the rain is heavy, the rain has been falling.
Yes.
The water volume is increased. And so, a lot can be expected from water at this time. You cannot predict what you meet, even as you sail across the water. So it's better to protect people, for people to protect themselves, or stay away from using the water for this period that the volume is very high. That's what I would advise.
Okay. So, what is the state government doing to ensure that there is no occurrence?
On the part of the police, we have instructed marine police officers to mount patrol waterways and mount at points where people board these boats. So for now, they are on the water, they have been patrolling, they have been educating people that the water volume is high. So if they must go on water, they must go with jackets or stay away from the waters.
Okay.
We're going to hold a meeting with the union this evening to resolve, to draw out schedule for this season so that it will be made better for people traveling on water.
All right, DSP Catherine, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. President Muhammad Buhari has expressed Nigeria's appreciation to the People's Republic of China for immensely contributing towards reversing the nation's critical infrastructure deficit. This was at a virtual farewell audience with the outgoing Chinese ambassador to Nigeria. Details of this report will come in a subsequent bulletin. For more reports on Nationwide, let's join Debabari in our Port Harcourt studio. Hello, Debabari.
And welcome to Port Harcourt. River State chapter of the Inter-Party Advisory Council has commended Governor Nyesom Wike for his tenacity towards the development of the state. This was as a group led by its new chairman, Ambassador Desmond Akawo, paid a courtesy visit on the governor in his office. Ogediyinkwe completes the report.
The new leadership of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, were in Government House to applaud what they describe as the uncommon leadership qualities of Governor Wike. Chairman IPAC Desmond Akawo said the council is to promote good governance among other obligations.
For us, as IPAC, we have a dual role to play. One, as indigenes of the state and major stakeholders in the state, our interest is on good governance and to support the government where they are doing well, and if necessary, advise the government on the areas of improvement.
We do what will make our people to be happy. And so, even though we're in the second tenure, like some people say, second tenure governor, what are you working as if you have another attempt to run? But our tenure ends by the grace of God 2023. So we'll continue to give services to the people of the state.
Governor Wike reiterated that coronavirus disease is real, hence the need for everyone to take responsibility by observing all the safety protocols adopted. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwe, NTA News.
To ameliorate the sufferings of indigent persons occasioned by COVID-19, the Nigerian Army has distributed palliative to the poor and vulnerable. Comfort Amama reports that the GOC6 Division, Major General Felix Agugo, presented the palliatives to His Royal Majesty, King Bright Ateke in Abloma Kingdom, in commemoration of the 2020 Nigerian Army Day.
In a bid to cushion the effect of the COVID-19, General Officer Commanding 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Felix Agugo, has donated palliatives to the people of Abloma Kingdom. He says that the Nigerian Army, apart from protecting the territorial integrity of the country, is also committed to reducing the hardship occasioned by the COVID-19 and also willing to identify with people of the state at all times.
We don't just wish to give them physical security protection. We want to identify with them in everything that threatens their well-being. The things that we have received from the CNC and from the well-meaning Nigerians, we also want to share with people that we believe are even worse off materially than us, those of us in the army.
The king and other members of the community, while appreciating the kind gesture, noted that the gifts will be evenly distributed and will get to the appropriate people.
We decided to come and to take personally for all the reasons he has made known to all of us. Thank you for coming and thank you for the palliatives.
They also called for the strengthening of security in their area. Comfort Amama, NTA News.
We are done here. Is back to Elizabeth for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Debabari. The presidency on Tuesday declared that the ongoing probe of the acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, is an affirmation that nobody under the present administration is above scrutiny. According to facts made available to State House respondents by an unanimous presidency source, the interrogation of the anti-graft boss is to give him the opportunity to clear himself of the weighty allegations. The source maintained that the investigation of the EFCC boss was to reinforce the Buhari administration's commitment to transparency and accountability. The presidency source affirmed that the holder of an elevated office such as the chairman of the EFCC must be above suspicion. It assured that the administration will not prejudge anyone as it could be counted to uphold justice and fairness. The panel investigating allegations against acting EFCC chairman had been sitting for some weeks now. And in consonance with the principle of fairness and justice, it is only fair that the acting chairman be given opportunity to respond to the allegations which are weighty in nature under the Muhammadu Buhari administration. The source insists nobody is above scrutiny. The investigation is therefore to reinforce transparency and accountability rather than vitiating it. Now to urban development and industrialization. Excitement is in the air among manufacturers, business owners, and communities in Niger State located along the designated road for the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project. This is coming on the heels of the flag-off ceremony of the construction of a 614 kilometers gas pipeline project presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. Dauda Mohammed reports.
The AKK gas pipeline is divided into 4 segments, with the first segment expected to run from Ajaokuta to Abuja, a distance of 200 kilometers. The second segment will extend from Abuja to Kaduna, a stretch of 193 kilometers, with the third segment stretching from Kaduna to Zaria, a distance of 97 kilometers, and the final segment from Zaria to Kano, which is 124 kilometers.
We are presently at the Sulking Power axis, where geophysical investigation is presently ongoing, preparatory to the laying of the pipes.
Beyond the flag-off of the gas pipeline project, what are the expected economic benefits to the communities and other stakeholders? Sani Bello Mustafa is a manufacturer based in Mina, Niger State.
I think if this thing comes on board, it will be of great help to them. And a lot of industries will flourish and a lot of jobs will be created.
It's not just industries. The societal
problem will be half solved, because this is going to employ a lot of people.
This project is coming up at a very, very good time, because the world is moving towards cleaner energy. That means gas.
We believe everything that will add value, to the growth and development of our economy, is welcomeable, particularly in the area of energy supply.
They have engaged some of our men, particularly the security and the land guard. They have just started. When the contract start proper, we pray we'll be more happy than where we fit.
Despite the advantages of the project, stakeholders are of the opinion that more concessions are needed to boost capacity of business owners and ownership of the project. Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
Let's shift attention to security. The recent establishment of the Nigerian Army's special camp in Faskari, Katsina State will improve the deteriorating security situation in the area. This was the view of people of Faskari when the Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, paid a courtesy visit on the district head of the area, Aminu Usman Said. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
For some time now, bandits have disrupted farming and other socioeconomic activities in Faskari and neighboring communities in Katsina State. To stem this tide, the Nigerian Army established a super camp in Faskari, in addition to injecting more platforms to ongoing Operation Hadarindaji to rapidly respond to security threats in the area and other troubled communities in the northwest Nigeria.
We are very much concerned.
Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, said the launching of Exercise Sahel Sanity will enhance the war against banditry in the region.
Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief has directed us to bring to an end this insecurity in all parts of the country. And of course, the recent happenings calls for more concern here in Katsina State.
This good news and sense of security created by the Army Chief's visit attracted sons and daughters of the community to the palace of the district head of Faskari.
Let me use this opportunity to assure you and your men that the people of Faskari will support you morally and in their prayers during the military operation you are about to embark upon.
This is the first time Chief of the Army Staff is visiting the agrarian community, and the people believe that the visit will address the current security challenge in the area. From Faskari in Katsina State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And away from security, businesses of Nigeria trading community in Ghana has come up under prolonged shutdown, giving rise to gross losses and untold hardship. But the narrative has changed following the intervention of the federal government in the reopening of Nigeria's commercial premises in Ghana. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that the development prompted a pre-session visit by the National Association of Nigerian Traders to Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NEDCOM.
600 shops owned by Nigerians in Ghana had suffered ill-fated treatment owing to shutdown of business premises for the period of 6 months. This prompted the federal government to swiftly wade into the situation through diplomatic efforts, which eventually restored sanity in all the affected commercial areas. Now the Nigerian business community visits the office of NITCOM to show appreciation over the development and advocates more strict diplomatic measures to avert repeat of future incidents.
We suffered for this ECOWAS since 1975. And what was the purpose? For economic integration. And if it is therefore for economic integration, we must not disintegrate the people.
NITCOM chairman Abike Dabiri Erewa expressed satisfaction with the visit and revealed plans to create database for Nigerians in Ghana, as well as strengthened diplomatic ties.
The Ghanaian traders should not go against their own government. So it's good news, and like you said, we have to continue the spirit of brotherliness, We're all part of ECOWAS, and that is the spirit. But I think the person to thank really is President Muhammadu Buhari, because without you knowing, the president was engaging the Ghanaian president on many occasions.
She says federal government will continue to support Nigerians who are into lawful trades and urged them to limit themselves to regulations of their host countries. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on NTA. Let's take a break. Sports, when we return, stay with us.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Shabi, you still come back to this house?
Yeah, so you cannot even support your husband, eh?
Support who? I thought you said men are the head of the family.
How to get here? Allah, how to get here?
Feminism is all about equal right and opportunity for women.
Settle your matter in your home.
You can't keep comparing Agatha and Uchechi. Agatha is Agatha. Uchechi is Uchechi.
Now believe this Koroti. You know if you touch black man, if you like gather the whole Niger come together, make the tough. Nothing.
Which one you want?
Give me V and D.
I beg, get small pieces.
How much you want to give him?
Give me 200. Take your change now. You know what your change is?
My people, this coronavirus, na serious matter. May una wash una hands regularly. Come use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. If you no see water, wash your hand. Make una sit down for house. You see this virus, so e no get leg. Now we dey waka kurukere. No waka around, make the virus for die. No forget, say the betterment of our people. Now for your handy day.
This message is from the Akinfade Foundation in partnership with the National Orientation Agency with support from MacArthur Foundation.
Okay, guys, let's do this. Action.
You can deceive everyone, but you certainly cannot deceive me. I see you.
But if the package is faulty, there'll be no buyers.
So I suggest you sit down and have a talk with your husband.
So you have faith. Everything is possible.
You heard him, right?
You needed help and I helped you.
This place will do so. They also work a wolf.
You mean you still work for Matthew Osage?
What?
Thanks for staying. Talking sports now, Sports Ministry strategizes for safety of athletes post-COVID-19. Tamara Ibiwit brings us details on sports updates.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Gabriel Aduda, says sporting activities in the country will resume soon as the ministry is working closely with other stakeholders and the presidency to ensure maximum safety of athletes and officials on resumption. He made this known when he received over 10,500 face masks made by Youth Corps members donated to the Sports Ministry for use at the upcoming 20th National Sports Festival built for Benin in Edo State.
You will agree with me that across the world, all the leagues have opened up. We need to join the rest of the world. We will not allow the pandemic, already it has distorted our lives, but we can determine to what extent.
On receiving instruction from the Director General, they went into action and produced this face mask as their own contribution to the ministry for a successful hosting of this competition.
All the particular protocols we needed to follow to ensure that our face mask was of quality and could help to prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
In tennis, a revised system for calculating world rankings when the season resumes in August following a 5-month stoppage due to the COVID-19 pandemic has been unveiled by the governing body of men's tennis, ATP. Among the key elements of the revised system, A player's ranking will comprise of his best 18 results over the 22-month period, as a player cannot court the same tournament twice in his breakdown. ATP says tour-level tournament points added in 2020 that count in a player's ranking breakdown will remain on a player's ranking for 52 weeks, or until the event in question is played again in 2021, whichever comes first. Tamara Ebiwe, NTA News.
And that's Nationwide today. We want to thank you for your time. Remember, stay safe.